Welcome back to Dark Cinema Recaps, where horror is for life, not for October. Today, we're going to be looking at the newest installment into the Exorcist franchise, and before we finish the franchise with our big recap, even though we've done it once in the old school way with the AI voice, we're going to be taking another trip to Washington and redoing the original Exorcist from 1973. In Haiti, photographer Victor Fielden and his pregnant wife, Seren, are on their honeymoon until a massive earthquake ensues. Seren is gravely injured, and paramedics tell Victor he must choose to save his wife or his child. 13 years later, Victor has lost his faith in God since Seren's death and raising his daughter Angela on his own in Georgia. One day after school, Angela ventures into the woods and with her Baptist best friend Catherine to perform a seance in an attempt to contact Angela's mother. The girls go missing and a 3-day manhunt ensues. The girls are found in a barn on the third day. Though traumatized, they seem relatively normal, having only suffered burns to their feet. The next day at home, Angela attacks Victor and begins convulsing, while Catherine has an outburst during a church service in which the sacrament of the Holy Communion is observed. Victor admits Angela into hospital, where their nurse and neighbour Anne attends to her. Catherine's mother, Miranda, begins to theorise that the girls have travelled to hell and brought a demon back with them. The girls' condition worsens. Anne, convinced that Angela is possessed, after the latter reveals her knowledge of Anne's experience to the novitate as a prospective nun and a secret abortion, gives Victor a memoir written by Chris McNeil, who experienced a similar situation with her daughter Reagan in 1973. Chris has spent her life researching exorcisms in every culture, while becoming world-renowned for her studies. Reagan became distant from her mother due to the memoirs and the success, and has not seen her since. Victor meets Chris, who visits Angela. Visiting Catherine's home, Chris performs a deliverance ritual on Catherine, who stabs Chris in the eyes with a cross, blinding her. Victor, Miranda, Tony and Anne reach out to the church for the exorcism. Chris advises Victor to use a method from all different cultures, and the group seeks help from Father Maddox, a local priest, Don Revens, Catherine's family's Baptist pastor, Stuart, a Pentecostal preacher, and Dr. Beehive, a rootwork healer. The group plans for an ecumenical exorcism, but the Catholic diocese forbids Maddox from participating as they feel that the children are suffering from a psychiatric disorder. The girls are tied to chairs as the group proceeds with the exorcism and uses a crucifix and a Saint Benedict medal engraved on it to battle the demon. The demon reveals that Victor did not choose to keep Angela alive 13 years ago. He chose Seren, but she died from her injuries. As Anne reads from the biblical text of Ezekiel 16 while holy water is poured on the children, the demon begins to shriek. The demon tells him that he needs to choose which of the girls gets to live and which one will die, and if a choice is not made, it will kill them both. While Miranda and Victor both refuse to forsake each other's child, Maddox, who has a change of heart, rejoins the group, and Maddox reads from the Roman ritual, only for the demon to snap his neck and kill him. Victor regains faith and he begins to say the Lord's Prayer, which he learned as a child. As Victor apologizes to Angela and uses Seren's scarf to attempt to strengthen her against the demon, Tony yells that he chooses Catherine and Angela flatlines. Suddenly, Catherine wakes up in another realm and screams for her parents as the demon chooses her, revealing that the one chosen would be the one who dies. The demon drags Catherine to hell. While Angela starts to breathe, police arrive as Miranda and Tony fail to resuscitate Catherine, and Victor tearfully reunites with his daughter. In the aftermath, Angela returns to school, Miranda and Tony mourn, and Victor visits Seren's grave. In the hospital, Chris is reunited with Reagan, who forgives her mother. And that was The Exorcist Believer, a sequel 50 years in the making. And was it as good as everybody expected? No, it wasn't. Does that mean it's a bad film? No, it doesn't, because a sequel that comes out 50 years after the original is never going to live up to the hype. It's a similar thing going on with Star Wars. You know, if you give it like a long enough length of time, everyone thinks it's going to come back and be amazing, and then when it's only like good, and Exorcist, believe it, is good. There's no two ways about it. I do enjoy this film. It's not 50 years worth of hype good. But next week we are going to be covering 1973's The Exorcist, and then we are going to have our long full, the full recap of the whole franchise before we move on to something new.